Yo, what up, what up? All right, so we live. If there's anybody looking to fill up or pull up, we'll let them come in, give it just a couple minutes. We know the crowd, the audience is usually on the lower end on this channel, but it'll definitely change sometime in the near future. So first off, let's go ahead and cover exactly what we're going to talk about today on today's show. It's going to be a good one. I think I'm gonna hit a lot of points. Draper Scott, what up? What up? See you in the building. Let's get it. So I'm gonna talk about a couple topics that I think are really important right now, especially with people getting started with their workout programs and things like that. So the first one I want to go ahead and announce. I thought this one was good. It's all in the title, so you probably already read over it. And what I went ahead and said is, I see that a lot of people at this point in time, in the year, most people have started their eating regimens or whatever's going on first of the year. And then over time, they start to kind of lose that motivation and they consider kind of cheating a little bit. So what I want to do is I kind of want to walk you through exactly what you might want to consider if you happen to cheat, how bad it is, what happens with the light cheats, what happens with the heavy cheats where you intake a large amount of calories. Things like that is all what I really want to cover, just to make sure if this ever happens to you, you have some kind of way out. The next thing, I know what ties into you actually losing weight. One thing I told a lot of people to consider, or is something that you could actually focus on or kind of go a different route, is going to be cutting your carbohydrates. All right, cutting your carbohydrates usually leads to weight loss. For each individual, it'll always end up being a little bit different. But in most cases, you usually lose 1, 2, sometimes 3, and it could be up to like 4 or 5 pounds, depending on the individual and how much weight they actually have to lose. So I thought about talking about what it's like to actually cut carbs. How much should you cut, and actually for how long? Because these are definitely things you want to consider when you're doing that. Because if it's not done right or properly, you'll find that it's going to end up not going the way that you want exactly. And you're going to be putting in a lot of work, a lot of effort, and you're not, or may not see what you're looking for as far as results. Draper Scott came in and says, I haven't ate fried food since 1997. Wow, that's good. That's real good. And then again, I want to also throw things like that out, for anybody that has weaknesses and things that they really cannot get rid of. And if you want to consider keeping that in your diet, there are ways, that you could go about eating your ice cream, your donuts, your cookies, your cupcakes. It just all reflects on how it's taken in. It's got to be in moderation in order for you to see those results that you're looking for. All right. So, other than that, I got a little cooking session that I'm gonna get into in a second. What we're gonna dive into is a Caesar salad. I'm gonna show you exactly how I do it, and I even went over this a little bit with wifey, and how I'm gonna go about, doing a little show or whatever with y'all. And she was like, why don't you get like actual lettuce and stuff like that and cut it up? So she was telling me, like, cut up the lettuce, cut up the peppers, and cut. That's cool. I want y'all to know that that is a route that you can take, but I'm gonna show you what I do. It's nothing special. It's not even that time consuming. It is a little costly, and when you think about it, because sometimes it'll help out more on the cost end if you were to consider buying your lettuce, your peppers, and everything individually outside of what I do. I just buy the kit. It's a little salad kit. It's in a section in the grocery store. You know what I'm saying? You hit it up. And then all I do is just open up the kit, and it has all the ingredients that I usually like inside. So we'll get into that. We'll talk about the importance of it. I have a little vitamin of the day that I said I'm going to give y'all every time we meet up, which I'm going to try to make this a daily thing, at least Monday through Friday. Every time we get together, I'm going to try to give y'all a little vitamin or something like that you kind of hold on to in your head. And what will end up happening is over time, you'll slowly develop a good bit of knowledge about the different vitamins, minerals, what they do for you, where you can find them. All that goodness will come your way as long as you constantly stay tuned in or just constantly study these things in general. And then I'm gonna also dive into the exercise of the day. So I'm gonna roll out to my living room right here. I'm gonna actually break out the cam, set it up accordingly, and I'm gonna show y'all an exercise that you can actually incorporate into your program right now that could help you out. I'm gonna give you the advanced version. I'll give you a modified version. And then if you still need something a little simpler, email me, because usually there's two routes. All right, there's a basic and then there's an advanced. Sometimes there's a few others in between, but for the most part, those are the two areas that you usually aim for. So let's get it started. So first things first, I want to start off with the cheat one, exactly like the title says. What are some things I can do if I cheat on my diet? All right. So first of all, it'll always depend on when the cheat is actually done. Okay. When it's done and how much cheating is actually happening or going on. Before we even get any further, what is cheating? Some people don't even know the definition of what cheating is exactly. So when someone cheats on their diet, it is kind of like two different things. All right. One, some people might consider cheating to be, hey, you already had a strict regimen and you went outside of that regimen. So someone might consider that to be cheating. Some people don't have a regimen already set up. They just go about their day cutting calories. And a cheat for them might just be, maybe they just stepped outside of their norm, the normal eating that they usually do. And maybe they took in something that's a little higher in calories. But what is the cheat exactly? The cheat only is a cheat if you have a set amount of calories to hit, right? Remember, we talked about a BMR, basal metabolic rate. Your basal metabolic rate is how many calories your body burns in a 24-hour period of time at rest. If you're looking to lose weight, okay, you're going to want to target and hit a certain amount of calories. The only time I would tell my clients that you need to consider what you consumed as a cheat is if you go over the normal amount of calories that you're expected to hit. Does that make sense? So you have a target amount of calories. Let's say that's 2,000. Let's say, for example, you eat a donut, but you don't actually hit the calories that you're actually aiming to target. You have a target amount of calories in order to help you to lose weight. If you actually eat that donut, but you don't really hit that point, does the donut actually register as a cheat? Yes and no. Okay. So no, because you can still lose weight as long as you don't hit your actual BMR, which is your basal metabolic rate, the amount of calories you want to target in order to reduce your weight. If you don't hit that, you consume a donut, that definitely means that you're still going to lose weight. You're still sitting within a caloric deficit. And that's key when it comes down to losing weight. So now we come back to that same point. Well, what is a cheat? Back to what I was saying, the cheat is only going to be if you have 2,000 calories as your goal and you end up going over that. So let's say you go 21 or 22 or 23. So how much above that target amount of calories do you actually go, and how much is considered a cheat? Any amount above your target amount is going to be a cheat. Let's talk about what happens when you consume a little bit. So your target calories is 2,000, for example. You end up cheating. You have a little extra, whatever, French fries, whatever it is, but you end up at the end of the day consuming 2,200 calories. So you're 200 over the normal amount. What do you do next? There's a few things to consider at this point. Number one, you haven't cheated and really pushed your body in a position where you're really going to see yourself pack on weight. 200 extra calories in your daily amount of calories is not going to really hit you that hard. It will hit you if you were to do this for 7 days consecutively. Okay. An extra 200 calories in the equation above your normal expectation 7 days a week definitely is going to help you to pack on some weight. So if you're looking to lose weight, you're going to want to make sure that you hit below you're going to want to make sure you hit that caloric deficit. And when you hit the caloric deficit, you're going to make sure that if you happen to cheat, you stay below that limit. Okay. When you go above, you start at a lower amount. And with that lower amount, you need to make sure if this takes place, you need to consider your next meal dropping the calories. All right. Sorry if I confused you a little bit on that one. But the main point I'm trying to make is that you need to consider reducing the calories in your next meal, because you're going to have a set amount of calories that you consider or actually go for, right? Maybe 300 calories each meal, maybe 200 calories each meal. If you happen to cheat in your previous meal, the next cheat coming up, reduce some of those calories. The more you cheat, the more calories you reduce. Make sense? Okay. So if I say, okay, I'm going to do burgers, fries, hot dogs, cupcakes, cookies, ice cream, everything that I could possibly get my hands on, and I actually push my body into a position where I'm 1,000 calories over the amount that I want to target. 1,000 calories, that's a lot of calories. The next thing I want to consider doing is reducing my calories, but I would aim for carbohydrates. Okay, I would aim for the carbohydrates and reduce the calories. For some people, they can't go through an intermittent fasting state. They don't want to go through that part where they actually fasted. They feel like they're starving, they feel lightheaded and all this, that, and that. So what you would want to consider is continue eating, but just make sure you cut back on your carbohydrates. All right. If you cut back on your carbohydrates, keep the proteins in effect, and definitely reduce the amount of calories that are coming in each meal. Okay. So if this is sounding like a lot of stuff, let me break it down in a quick example. So I just gave it to you. I went ahead and I ate burgers, fries, cookies, cupcakes, pushed myself 1,000 calories over my target amount. What I'm going to focus on my next meal is a salad. Salads usually contain very low carbohydrates. They usually contain a lot of protein. That's one aim that you could go for. Another aim could be a protein shake. You want to follow up real bad meals with things like protein shakes. You want to follow it up with grilled chicken, something like a grilled chicken, not really a grilled chicken sandwich, but you can do like grilled chicken right alongside. You can do a little bit of vegetables, very small amount, because vegetables are still carbohydrates, but it registers different in the body. And especially if you were to take it in a smaller amount, it won't really hit you as hard as packing in something like rice or bread or anything like that. So the point that I'm making is the more you cheat, the more you will need to restrict as you continuously progress. So when you're actually out there and you're restricting all this stuff, when do you actually have a time or a period where you can actually turn around and say, okay, well, maybe it's okay now for me to consume carbohydrates along with my meals like I was before I cheated? That's something that you're going to have to fill out. All right. Everyone's body is going to work a little bit different when it actually comes down to it. So with that being said, considering how your body may work, it might be normal that if you were to cut back your carbohydrates for at least 2 days, I would consider reintroducing those carbs somewhere around that third day. Now, everyone's body's different. For some people, you may need to reintroduce on the second day, the third day. Some people, it's extensive and they can go up to the fourth day. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, what you also always want to consider is the reduction of calories over a period of time until your body kind of, gets rid of all of the excess that was taken in during that cheat. Okay. So that's how you want to follow up with your cheat meals. Okay. If you happen to cheat, you don't really cheat that much. Either one, you could just kind of keep it moving and kind of do whatever you really were doing before and kind of just plow right through it. Or if you feel like the cheating was extensive and you want to go to the extreme, I would actually suggest intermittent fasting. If that's something that you want to take, if that's something that you don't want to take on, the other thing that I would consider is you actually reducing your carbohydrates as you continuously eat. Next meal, next meal, next meal. Some examples that I would throw out are salads, protein shakes, anything that has high protein, low carbohydrate. And the reason why is the carbohydrates will definitely help you to not only reduce your calories, but it'll help you to reduce your weight in general, because you just won't take in that much food at the end of the day. So let's talk about the carbohydrates, because we're really driving on carbohydrates and looking at what they do for the body and stuff like that. So carbohydrates, which you probably already know, usually are the body's energy source. Okay, it's one of the body's richest energy sources. Your body will seek carbohydrates before it'll go for the proteins, before it'll go for the fats. That's the idea that you want to do when you consider cutting your carbohydrates. So when I talk to people about losing weight, there are many tools that you can actually use in order to lose weight. One is just doing exercise. One is just reducing calories. One is reducing carbohydrates. If you happen to go the route of reducing carbohydrates, when you reduce your carbohydrates, what you're always going to consider is reintroducing those carbohydrates. You don't want to go for a period of time where you go like 6, 7, 8 weeks without eating any carbohydrates. There are many foods that are out there that have a high nutritional value that contain carbs, and you don't want to leave them out. Okay, you don't want to stick with just protein. At the end of the day, those carbohydrates will be utilized throughout the body for many different reasons. It's important that you consider taking them in if you want to lose weight or build muscle. All right, so it's key that you make sure carbohydrates are included or reintroduced if you happen to take them out. So let's talk about it. So we take out carbohydrates, right? So how much and for how long? So this is how it works. So what you're gonna see, this is what I would suggest. First of all, you always have to start with your goal. Okay. What is your goal? If your goal is to lose weight, gain weight, maintain weight, let's start with weight loss. Okay. So you say to yourself, well, how much carbohydrates do I need to reduce? Should I just take them all out completely? You could do that. You could do that. Will you see good results? Yeah, you'll see good results. You'll see them happen really, really fast. But what you're also going to get is not the biggest picture on exactly what worked. Okay. When you just go 0 to 100, you can't really pinpoint exactly what worked. Believe it or not, you have a certain amount of carbohydrates, you have a certain amount of protein, certain amount of calories that your body desires in order to make the change that you're looking for, whatever that change may be. So if you're looking to reduce weight and you consider reducing your carbohydrates and you're thinking about how much you want to actually bring that down, you're going to want to consider very small increments at a time. All right. I'm not going to tell you how much because I don't even know how many you're taking in. So I can't say reduce 5 grams, reduce 10 grams. All I'm going to say is that what you want to consider doing is reducing small amounts if you're eating consecutively throughout the day. For most people, they eat 3 times a day, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Some people consider the 2 snacks. If you have these meals spread out just like this, and you have carbohydrates included in all of those meals, or 1, 2, 3, 4 of those meals, anywhere throughout where you have the opportunity to take away or reduce some of the carbs, go ahead and reduce the carbs. Okay. What you're going to want to consider is having a scale that's actually going to weigh how much you weigh, check your body fat. And if you can, it's a little more expensive. You're going to want something to check out your muscle. The reason why you're going to need this tool is it's going to help you understand how many carbs you need to reduce. This is a very important question because at the end of the day, I can never tell you exactly how many carbs you need to reduce. I can tell you if you go from 0 to 100 and take them out completely, it is not the easiest battle to fight. And when you're going through it, it's very highly likely that you might turn around and consider cheating. But if you slowly take out carbohydrates, you'll slowly get your body to adapt to the new way of eating that you're introducing. And over a period of time, it's not as stressful or not as hard to deal with or manage. So at the end of the day, what you want to consider when you reduce each small amount of carbohydrate, you're going to want to write up a plan of how you're actually making this happen. You're going to say to yourself, okay, so I notice every day at breakfast, I decide to reduce my carbohydrates. Okay. When I reduce my carbohydrates at breakfast, at the end of the week, I lost 1 pound or 2 pounds. Okay. You're going to go the next week. You're going to consider reducing your carbohydrates in your first and second meal. You're going to see how much you weigh at the end of the week. Third week, you're going to want to reduce your carbohydrates in the first meal, the second meal, and the third meal. You're going to want to check your weight. You're going to see how much you reduce. You're going to see at some point in time, believe it or not, your body can hit a point where it does not like how many carbohydrates you've actually reduced it to. You reduce the number to. And your body might not lose the same amount of weight that you were losing before. It's just not going to make sense. You're going to say, well, why is it that I'm not losing that much weight this time around and I actually reduced more carbohydrates than ever before? If this be the case, you're going to now understand that there is a happy medium. There's an area that you're looking for, a certain amount of calories, certain amount of carbs, protein that you want to consider bringing in order for your body to make the change that you're looking for. There is a little something that you're looking for, whether it be to reduce weight, maintain weight, or to gain weight. That's all what you want to consider when you're actually reducing your carbs. What I suggest is you starting out with small increments at a time, and over a period of time, you end up where maybe you've reduced a lot of carbs, and over time you've had your body slowly adapt to it so it doesn't just hit you like a brick wall, because it's very hard to deal with and battle taking carbohydrates completely out of your diet and trying to go weeks at a time or even days at a time without carbohydrates entirely. Like I said, you miss out on a lot of important vitamins, minerals, nutrients, things like that. And you also miss out on a lot of opportunities for you to make the necessary change that you're looking for. Carbohydrates are very important when it comes down to you reducing weight, and also important when it comes down to you gaining weight or building muscle, okay, in general. So that's basically how it'll work when it comes down to how much you want to reduce. Small increments at a time over a long period of time. It will get better. It will be easier. The cold turkey, you're able to do it. If you want to consider doing that, if you have a wedding, if you have something that you have going on immediately, then that is a way or a route that you can knock off pounds at a very fast rate. You've probably heard many stories about people doing the keto type of deal and they cut carbs and you immediately start dropping pounds. But most of them don't drop the same amount over an extended period of time. For the most part, you're going to drop a lot of weight in the beginning, and over a period of time, it'll slowly mellow out to where you may find yourself working really hard at it, but you're not really gaining that same benefit that you were seeing in the very first time around. So when we talk about how long, this is another one that's very, very, very important when it comes down to carbohydrates. When you consider how long, all right. So I kind of brushed up on this a little bit earlier. So for each individual, when it comes down to how long you actually decide to cut your carbohydrates for, it's gonna be dependent on each person. Okay. I particularly know that my body will only withstand the reduction of carbohydrates for 2 and up to 3 days. Okay. There is something called a cheat meal. Okay. Cheat meals are very important. And I'm going to get into that because I think it connects directly with um, taking out carbs and reintroducing carbs. So when you take out carbs, okay, that is a good way to help your body trigger and target body fat. Okay. Now, when the carbs are out, that doesn't necessarily mean if they're not actually present or you're not consuming them, that this little trick or tactic or magic is going to work for you for an extended period of time. At some point in time, you're going to want to reintroduce it. I just gave you an explanation that for me, it'll actually be up to about 2, maybe 3 days. So how do you know when? How do you know when the day is or what's going on? So this is how it works. When you first reduce carbohydrates, what's going to happen is you're going to have, and this, some people can do this, some people can't. I advise you to get on a scale on a daily basis if you decide to reduce carbohydrates. If your carbohydrates are reduced enough, you're almost going to see a daily change in the amount of carbohydrates that are reduced. What you're going to also notice is you're going to get to a point where you're going to lose, and then you don't lose anymore. Usually this will be the amount of time that you need to know in order to understand how long you need to go without carbohydrates. For example, I weigh right now around 185 pounds, right? I've decided to reduce my carbs on day one. When I reduce my carbs, I eat normally throughout the day. Usually with the reduction of carbs, I find myself sometimes within a caloric deficit, which usually will equate to weight loss. So when I reduce my carbs, I see I'm 185. In a day, I'm gonna probably drop to like 184. Next day, 183. Next day, probably be like 183 and some change. Next day, 183. Next day, 183. Even though the carbs have been reduced, you're going to notice that my weight, particularly, I'm giving you my example, I notice that my weight does not change. Somewhere around the second or third day, the carbs the weight does not change, even with the reduction of carbohydrates. Now, where cheat meal comes in, a lot of people consider cheat meals the meal that contains the carbohydrates. When that meal is consumed, believe it or not, the carbohydrates that are consumed, because your body is starving for carbohydrates. The moment it sees carbohydrates, if you've been doing like a workout routine or something like that, and you have broken down muscle in your body, remember I broke this down yesterday, the carbohydrates that are consumed will go to muscle repair, okay? When you consume carbohydrates during a cheat meal, or if you decide to just reintroduce it on the second or third day, you're going to find that those carbohydrates work like fire. And when they are ingested into the body, it goes immediately for muscle repair, which muscle repair equates to fat loss. As your body repairs the muscle that has been broken down, it'll push your body in a position where it has to burn fat in order to make that happen. So that's exactly how it'll end up working out for you at the end of the day when you decide to reduce the carbohydrates. When you consider when to reintroduce them, you're going to be told, in my way of doing it, you're told through the scale and your weight and when the actual plateau hits. It's a form of a plateau. When that plateau hits, you need to now think and consider like, oh man, I'm not losing any more weight. I need to now introduce a cheat meal, or you need to just reintroduce carbohydrates in general. And that'll usually equate to your body hitting a reset button. It's literally like a reset button. And what will end up happening is you're going to almost swear up and down like there's no way that I could have actually consumed those carbohydrates and that equate to weight loss. But believe it or not, if you play your cards right and you actually do um, consume that cheat meal and do everything the right way, weigh yourself the following day or whenever your next weigh-in is, usually in most cases, you will see weight loss, okay, in that situation. As long as you played all cards right, if the carbs are taken out and reintroduced in a matter of time, usually somewhere around when the plateau hits and you no longer are losing weight, after a day or two, after consuming that meal containing the carbohydrates, it usually pushes your body into a fat burning state. And you'll find that you're going to hit the reset button. And however much weight you were losing, you're going to actually continue going in the downward direction because of how you actually structured that process. All right. If it was confusing at all, trust me, just rewind the video and it'll all make sense if you kind of listen to it again and again. Hopefully, I didn't confuse you at any point in time, because this is a real important thing to consider and know when you decide to reduce weight. And usually most people will go the low carbohydrate route in order to make that happen. Let me see what else did I have for you before I get into this. So yeah, I basically covered it. You know, if you cut carbs, how much? Talked about the small amount, and then I also talked about for how long. You'll most likely be told by the scale, and over a period of time. Just like myself, I don't necessarily rely on the scale anymore. I did in the beginning, but now I know my body to the degree that if I were to just reintroduce the carbs after they've been cut at the third day, maybe fourth day, it'll immediately make that process happen where I hit that reset button and get everything going again. So yeah, what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna go ahead and dive into this cooking deal. I wanna show y'all how simple this is. What I decided to do is I decided to go for a Caesar salad. All right. What I like about salads, the vitamins, the minerals, everything that's contained, the nutrients, that's the key thing when it comes down to it. When you're dealing with like clear skin, when you're dealing with your body operating at an optimum level, I've found that salads have been key when it comes down to it. Yes, I still eat rice and bread and things like that. I focus on carbohydrates. But I always make sure that salads are key and always in the equation when it comes down to any type of healthy eating. All right. I know sometimes guys talk about, oh, I don't eat salads. I just eat steak and burgers and fries and stuff like that. I mean, do you when it comes down to it? But at the end of the day, the way that I see it is that you're looking for the benefits of the food. You're not looking for what's a manly food, what's a female food. You know what I mean? I even go to restaurants sometimes and I'll order salads. You know what I mean? And wifey, she just does her thing. She has her own little game plan going on, and sometimes she might order something that's a little more higher in calories, and they'll look at me all crazy like, why is this guy ordering salads? And it's just she does her salads on her own time. And I'm gonna tell you right now, when it comes down to it, Dorothy in the building. I'm about to get into this salad real fast. I'm just kind of filling y'all in. One of some of my restaurant experiences. Sometimes I'll get out, and usually the case is that people think that salads are for females or salads are just mainly for losing weight. But what you'll find is I usually will train on a salad, not necessarily to give my optimum performance in all situations. I might find, my spaghetti might work out better for me, but I find sometimes that I could train with a salad. It's a little lighter on my stomach, and I will especially rely on the salad if I'm getting closer to my workout time. If I'm getting closer to the workout time, I definitely want to consider a lighter meal. If I feel like going into the gym, I might feel, like hungry or lightheaded just because I haven't consumed enough calories. Lighter meals are key getting closer to the gym time. I'm scheduled to get to the gym around 6 o'clock. I gotta make this appointment actually. Yeah, I'm scheduled to get into the gym around 6, I think it is. And that'll definitely put me in a position where if I were to cook up the salad right now and eat it, it's not really heavy enough to really impact how hard I decide to train in the gym. I could go real hard with a high intensity, or I could do something with lower intensity and still not really feel any of that heavy effect that rice or bread will put on you during your workout sessions. So let's keep it moving. Let me see. I'm gonna have to book this appointment and see if I can get my kids set up. So when I go and check into the gym, they actually have a little kids person to take care of them. So yeah, let's move it over here. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna move it this way. Hopefully I got a good view so you can see everything that's going on. We got the stove on deck. Don't mind anything that looks out of the norm and crazy. Y'all know. But yeah, we'll grow this channel. We'll get it going. You get some pots. So I'm not a crazy chef. I'm not a crazy chef at all. What ended up happening for me is I learned how to cook because I did bodybuilding for like 5 years. I competed. I won a few trophies. I did my thing. I think I'm considering getting back on the stage in 2021. 2022. And I just had to learn how to cook. All right. Hold on. I'm a little confused right now. I need a pot. Yeah, so that's been my aim, my goal for a long time. That inspired me to learn how to cook. When I learned how to cook, I ended up getting some skills, you know? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna break out a bowl. I'm gonna do the bowl. You're gonna see how I do it with the salad. Like I said, if you came in a little later, I'm gonna show y'all how to do it in a way that, let me bring this up a little bit so y'all can see me just a little. All right, so what I'm gonna do is I'm trying to show y'all the way that I cook, and I'm trying to give it to you exactly how I do it. I don't wanna give you like anything fake. So even like wifey was telling me, like chop up the ingredients and stuff like that. I was like, nah, I really don't wanna necessarily like do anything that I don't actually do. I literally just get the dough packet. Let me show you where the dough packet looks like. Let me get it out the fridge. And I decided to go with Ultimate Caesar. So boom, we got the Ultimate Caesar. And basically what's going on, it has romaine lettuce. It says artesian style croutons. I'm not crazy about the croutons. It gives us a Caesar dressing, shaved Parmesan Romano, spices, and black pepper. So usually when I do these salads, I'll throw everything in there. I don't really consider, how much fat it might have, because usually a lot of things that are usually tied into these salads are tied into healthy fats. Healthy fats are fats that the body could utilize for actual energy source. It doesn't work the same way as saturated fats. All right. So with that being said, the entire bag, all right, and the entire bag means everything included is 170 calories. All right, so it's a good bit of calories, but nothing serious. For most people, I would imagine your diet or your meal, each one is gonna contain at least 200 calories every time you eat. All right, so let's get this started. So with the salad, I gotta get me a little bowl. So I'm gonna give me a little bowl for the salad. Let's go. Let me get my chicken. I'm gonna show you the chicken too. So y'all know cost. I think the salad was like $3.99. So it might be a little more cost effective if you were to, like I said earlier, go out and actually buy the lettuce and buy all the ingredients that are contained in the salad. It might be a little bit more easy on your pocket, but like I said, I'm gonna give it to you exactly how I do it. I do have a little bit of a lazy way of doing it at the end of the day, but at the same time, it's really whatever works for you. So on the side of the chicken, right? Chicken, this is my protein source right here. I really don't mind the brand. I don't really go in on any particular brand like that. I just look for any kind of chicken. I usually aim for the chicken breast tenders. I know it says like organic and free range. I wasn't really looking at all that. The main thing I'm looking at is the fact that it's the breast tenders and it's thin. I usually like the thinner chicken because I noticed that when I add the seasonings to it, it's a little bit more flavorful at the end of the day. It's not as bland as some of those big, thick grilled chickens that you can usually get. So that's what I tend to drift more towards, the thin ones. They're a little bit more costly, of course. This pack right here happened to be $8.24. So just so you get an idea, we got $3.99 and $8.24. Now this will make me a good 2 meals right here for me. Usually I'll split it with wifey. If there's a little bit extra left over, I could also give it to the kids. Now, when I go pull up to most restaurants, at least the ones I go to, most of the salads are at least like $12. So I'm just getting one salad at the restaurant. Of course, you're getting the service and you having to pay out on tip or whatever. But at the same time, I'm ending up feeding like almost 4 heads for the same cost that they would charge me at a restaurant for just 1 head. All right, just so y'all know, when it comes down to it, if you're trying to save on the pocket, I know it's that season with the virus, you might want to consider doing that. So I'm gonna get the chicken started. First things first, I'm gonna heat up the stove. When I do my spray, I don't go, some people do y'all want to do the organic, or they want to do the coconut oil or whatever. I just do Pam. I make it real simple. If you're really that critical, I know my wife has her moments. She'll actually break out the olive oil and stuff like that and do it in a more safer fashion. Now, if you're really, really looking to reduce as much weight as possible, if I'm looking to actually compete, I have competition coming up in 6, maybe 8 weeks, then I would definitely consider going with a more safer route when it comes down to my oil. I did it different ways when it comes down to cooking your chicken. I've cooked chicken by just putting butter, actual like margarine, like a stick of butter in there. That's not the safest route. When it comes down to your goals, you know what I mean? That could really push your calories maybe too high or push you in a situation that you don't want to be in. It's more control with a little spray like this, more bang for your buck. So I would settle with the spray at the end of the day. I've also did oil, just pouring the canola oil in there, just doing it like that, just frying it. It's really up to you and how you want to do it. It's mainly going to be based on your goals. So let's get this started. I'm going to go ahead and shine this guy up. Y'all know what it is. For those who work with me on the other channel too, man, I was going to get on there today. I saw Anomaly on there. I started watching his show. I got carried away with his show. And I just said to myself, man, I'm going to just get on the fitness thing. And then after today, I'm going to get in on it tomorrow. Anybody that's looking for me on my other channel. The links are in the description, so y'all check that out. I'm going to open up the salad in a second just because I don't really feel like working with it right now. I'm going to deal with this chicken. I'm a one thing at a time type of dude, you know what I mean? So, yo, whoop-de-whoop. We'll cut this joint open just like this. And then they're going to come in little cutlets like this. All right, just so y'all see. This is nice right here. When you season this is definitely going to take on whatever flavor you're trying to achieve because it's so thin and it's easy to work with. Like I said, that thick chicken that you'll usually get in those big bags in the freezer aisle, those are cool too. But like I said, man, it's just harder to work with when it comes down to adding the flavor. All right, cool. All right, whoop-de-whoop. All right, so I'm gonna slide this over here like this. Let me drop this down a little bit. And then I'm gonna show you the seasonings I work with. What I do is I have a whole drawer full of seasonings. Give me a second. Let me wash my hands. So I got a whole drawer full of seasonings that I work with. And like I said, I'm not no special cook or nothing like that. I don't really, it's not something that I go hard with, but I learned how to do it because it was necessary for competition. So what I have right here is it's a drawer full. You can even see the cam. Turn it a little bit. It's full, bro. It's nothing serious. I do the Miss Dash. There's different types. Like I got the garlic and herb, the original. Just so y'all know, I don't really care the ones that I use. I usually find myself just grabbing anything. Most of the time, it always tastes good. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn this up just a little bit. I think it went down a little too low. So check this out. I'm gonna go ahead and season it like this. Drop some on there. Whoop-de-whoop. Now, if it's too much, something that I learned from Mom Dukes, she would just sprinkle a little bit of water in there. If you want to find out if it's too much, usually that's if it's like real salty, if it's real like tart or anything like that. That's definitely not the taste I'm looking to achieve. I want a nice, easy, smooth, seasoned chicken taste. That's usually what you get when you just drop a little bit on the top part, and that's all I do. I leave it. I don't flip it. I used to. I used to flip it and season it and do all types of other stuff and keep seasoning it all throughout the cooking process. But it only ended up where it's just way too salty or it was just not to my liking. But let me bring the heat down. I got it on a high flame, so we getting lit. But that's not a good thing right now. So I got my little tongs I use. It ain't nothing real serious. Whatever you got, if you got a little fork, a knife, whatever you need to do, you just need to flip your chicken, get it on the right track. All right, boom. I got the chicken flipped. Whoopie whoop. So I'm gonna give it some time. I'm gonna let it simmer a little bit. I brought the flame down to that halfway point. Just showing y'all how easy this is, man. Showing you how cost effective it is, how easy it ends up being if you want to consider going that healthy route and doing it the right way, where you're making all your money and saving as much money because you're doing as much cooking as you possibly can. This is how easy it is. All right, so let's get to work on this salad. Let me see if I can bring it a little closer. Let me see what I can do. All right, cool. Whoopie whoop. I wish I had some music. Might have to consider getting some music for this little cooking show, you know? So for some people, they like to cover the pot too. I'm kind of sleeping right now. So let me go and get this joint on there. So we got it covered up. And I'm gonna bring the flame down a little bit. So all what's going on here is I'm covering it up, trying to bring in more heat, bringing the flame down just so I can actually start working on my salad and not get overwhelmed by my chicken burning. So with the salad deal, real simple, man. What I really don't go too crazy for is the croutons. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of the croutons. I like them, but it's not my favorite all the time, you know what I mean? So boom, we're gonna drop the salad in just like that. Again, if y'all wanted to see it, it's the Dole's joint. This one is called the Ultimate Caesar. I like the kits, bro. I just can't really sit around and chop up the peppers and all of that. That's a lot for me, you know what I mean? All right, so let's go. So I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of the ranch. At the end of the day, I almost could even consider eating the chicken and the salad by itself and not even adding anything else as far as dressing goes. Wifey might add some of the dressing, but she's not a big Caesar fan either. I'm gonna go ahead and throw the croutons in it just because I figured wherever it falls, you know what I'm saying? I'll get yeah, I got you. Yeah, looking ahead, I'm in the building, man. You getting this salad in, y'all know. It's rare, we changing lives out here, man. I'm changing you mentally and physically. So we got the cheese, whoopie whoop. Notice while I'm making my salad, I got the chicken. Chicken is ready right now, y'all know. And then they throw in this little powder and stuff. I mean, I call it powder. It's pepper. It says black pepper on the label. It just depends on the individual when it comes down to it. This is something that, I mean, some people do it, some people don't. I think I'm gonna skip out on it. It's just pepper, you know what I mean, that you could actually throw in there. Sometimes what I like to consider is I got a whole drawer full of seasonings. I could even throw my own seasoning on top of the salad without using whatever they're working with. Usually what they're working with, it'd be all right, you know what I'm saying? It don't be nothing real. So, whoopie whoop. Yo, that's it. Salad is made, bro. That's it. I mean, yeah, if you wanted to consider some peppers and stuff like that, you could always chop it up. But for the most part, that's how the salad is going to be made. Just going ahead and dropping the ingredients right in. The moment my chicken is done, I'm gonna go ahead and take my chicken, drop it right onto the salad. Most of the time I'll cut it up, you know, usually that's the way that I like to have it done. And that's it. Whoopie whoop. Now you're dealing with a high protein, low carbohydrate meal. And also, if we consider taking out the dressing, that'll also equate to a low fat meal. So let's keep it moving. Let's see where we stand with the chicken. Because I think it's almost done. All right, it's a little, I'm gonna let it cook a little bit more. All right, cool. So it looks good. This is how I do it. This is what I wanted y'all to see. I wanted y'all to see how easy this is. It's nothing real serious. It's nothing that difficult. You see, I didn't even get all complicated with my seasonings. I went ahead, I sprinkled one seasoning in there. I decided to use this joint right here, Miss Dash. It looks like it's an original blend. Nothing serious. What it's gonna give me is a smooth, somewhat salted taste that, in my opinion, it blends very well with chicken. All right, it's completely up to you if you want to decide to use a different source of protein, maybe something like turkey. You could also go the route of steak, ground beef, anything of that nature. If you're not into the meats, you know how y'all do. Nothing against, but I know beans is usually a route, the tofu type of deal. If that's your thing, you know what I mean. For the most part, I like my meats. That's not something that I would ever consider taking out. But do you? Because you know everybody's a little different. But check this out. We got our salad done. Like I said, I'm not going to really consider adding this dressing in because I think that's going to push my calories a little bit higher than what I want. I'm considering going to the gym in a few minutes. So with that being said, this is the type of meal that I would usually have before going to work out if I needed to eat. I don't really like to go the route of the rice, bread, anything heavy pasta, heavy carbohydrate meals right before the gym. It's not my cup of tea. It'll only be done if I'm doing some type of workout that involves a very, very low intensity, nothing where I'm winded, panting, gasping for air, because usually I'll cramp or something will go wrong. It just doesn't equate to a good workout. So this is how I eat. So check this out. I think the chicken is right about done. So we're going to go ahead. We're going to do one more flip. And what we could do as this finishes up, we'll talk just a little bit about the importance of protein, what's going on here in the pot, and what's going on here with the salad. So let's talk about the protein in the chicken. Remember, I told y'all that protein, one of the leading building blocks of building muscle, is going to be your protein source. That's something you definitely want to consider. Everyone usually has a certain amount of protein that you want to intake daily in order for you to hit your goals, whatever that goal is. All right, I'm gonna give you mine just so you get a quick example. So I'm looking to actually gain weight. I'm considering competing sometime in 2022. And with that being said, one thing I want to focus on is consuming a high amount of calories. All right. I don't necessarily need the fat calories. Like I said, I'm going ahead and I'm gonna reject the ranch. But when I think about the protein, there is a certain amount of protein, because this is the good stuff. This is gonna help me grow. There is a certain amount of protein I always want to consider having. What I usually like to say, a lot of people like to say, oh, you should consider a pound per body weight. So this is it. For me and my experience, I've done very well with anywhere between 15 to 25 grams of protein each meal. Okay, so that's each time I sit down and eat. For everyone, it's a little different. Each individual might eat at different times. Each individual might decide to have more or less protein at different times, depending on their body. They might like protein at higher amounts early in the morning. They might like it later on at night. It might affect their sleep. That's totally based on the individual. That's something you'll end up figuring out. But when you do figure it out, you'll definitely know and understand that if you were to consume the exact desired amount of protein that your body craves, whatever results or direction that you're looking to go in, that's easily done, because you're giving your body exactly what it wants. Nothing too, not too much and not too little. Because the too much and too little, that forms a stress on the body, which you never really want. I think this is about done. All right. So cool. So we all done here. I got the chicken. It's all ready and set. What I'm gonna do now is I got a scissors around here somewhere. Let me see if it's over here. Boom, whoopty whoop. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go ahead and chop up my chicken as I put it over the salad, and then boom, I got my salad right there, ready to go. Nothing complicated. Nothing crazy out of the ordinary. All right. You don't got to be no crazy chef to make this happen. Let's talk about the salad. Yeah. So double check your meat. You know what I mean? This one might need a second more. Let me chop it up while it's. So another way of cooking it faster is you could actually chop it up inside the pot, just like you see me doing here. So it'll cook a lot faster. I remember the bodybuilding days. I'll be in the kitchen for like hours. You know what I mean? Just hours, just sitting here chopping up chicken, just getting grilled chicken, because the idea is to meal prep. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna talk about that probably in tomorrow's show. I want to talk about the ways to be successful if you want to lose weight, gain weight, and some of the things you can do. And one of the number one things is going to be meal prepping. Actually having your meals ready and set to go, not relying on spur of the moments. That's usually the time when people end up cheating. You know, when your meal's already made, prepped, and ready to go, that's more so how you want it. So, all right, cool. So you see it right here. Boom. Got my salad. I got my chicken. I'm gonna go ahead and turn off the flame, and that's a done deal. I now have food for me, wifey, the kids, and we're gonna be good. You know what I mean? So check this out. Boom, it's looking beautiful. Hey, let's go. All right, we got this off. Let's get this under some water. And there you have it. Boom. That's it. You just take it out. You see the steam coming out. You know, we'll give it a little taste test. See what we're working with. Yeah, it's just right. It's just right. So easy money. You know what I'm saying? Boom, we went ahead, dropped it in. You know what I'm saying? High flame. Make sure it's lit. 15, 20 minutes later, we eating nice. You know what I mean? This is how you eat good. And breakfast, the burgers and fries and all of that, you're not eating good, bro. This is how you eat good. This is how you eat nutritious, healthy. You gain so many benefits from this. Do not be fooled into thinking that this is a female's way of eating or anything like that. There's so many benefits that you gain by actually eating and consuming salads, all right? When the salad contains all the other ingredients, feel free to add them all in. For the most part, none of those ingredients are at an amount that could really cause whatever you have going on to be affected to that degree. You know what I mean? To the point where you're like, oh man, I had that salad, and just for me having the extra ingredients that went inside, that ended up meaning that I gained weight or something like that. It's usually at an amount that's so low, it's not really something to worry about. So if you have some extra ingredients like what was contained in the salad kit that I just had, go ahead and sprinkle them all in. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna be good. It ain't no thing. So boom, we got that right there. And that's what I wanted to do for the most part when it comes down to the cooking segment of the show. The next thing I wanted to talk about and get into is gonna be the exercises. So this is where we're gonna finish off. We're gonna slide into my living room. We're gonna, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna dive into just one quick exercise that I want you to consider. I'm gonna show you a modified version. I'm gonna show you an advanced version, just so you get an idea of something that you can do in order to, you know what I'm saying, help your results. So I haven't done this before. Y'all bear with me as I, you know what I'm saying, go through different camera angles or whatever I need to do. But hold on a second. Let me get one thing set up so we can see exactly how this works. All right, so and then the exercise of the day, I know y'all gonna call me crazy, but it's gonna be burpees, man. It's gonna be burpees. Y'all see I got the flags in the back. Let me see if I could get just the right shot so y'all can see all the footwork. All right, cool. So I think for the most part, what I could consider is like bringing this a little further back. And this will all change because I think I told y'all on my other channel, I'm gonna be moving. So I won't even be at this spot for too much longer. Let's see. All right, cool. So I'm gonna probably do it both ways. I'm gonna do it front to back. Let me see, because for the most part, I gotta get on the floor. Y'all still see me? All right, cool. I wish you could see my hands. Let me see if I can get my hands just a little lower. Yeah, I know everybody hates burpees. But it's important y'all see where my hands are at. Something to consider. All right, cool. All right, so let me get low for the people. So listen, I'm gonna do these burpees real fast. What I'm gonna show you is the main thing is that I focus on burpees a real particular way. I'm gonna show you what I usually see, and I'm gonna show you the way that I do it. The way that I do it, in my opinion, is the safest way you could actually do burpees, and I'm gonna tell you why, or I'm gonna show you why. And then I'm gonna show you a modified version, all right? So we're gonna deal with the most advanced first, and then we'll roll with a little modified joint in a second. So first off, what I wanna show you that people actually do when it comes down to burpees, they always, usually when they go down into the burpee, right? They'll actually go down, the knees actually extend past the toe. Now, if you haven't learned this before, when the knees extend past the toe, that's never a good thing. Let me show you what a squat looks like. So if I'm at this point and I decide to squat, you see where my knees are? They're usually above the ankle. That's usually where you want your knees to end up, okay? That's the alignment that you're looking for. The alignment that you usually want to stay away from is when the knees extend over the toes, okay? You never squat and have your knees extend over those toes. This is a sloppy squat. Imagine if I had a bar and I was out there squatting like this. See how the knees extend over the toe? It's never what you want. So what I notice people do when they do their burpees is just that exactly. They end up getting down like this and notice knee extending over the toe. They go down, burpee, push up, pop up, and then they do their jump. So my way is a lot safer, all right? I guarantee that the knee stays over the ankle in my burpees. I'm gonna show you the frontal view and I'm gonna show you the side view. So first off, you wanna open up just as if you were doing a squat, right? From this open position, you wanna make sure you place your hands. Let me make sure I back up a little bit so you see all this. So I wanna make sure I place my hands right here. All right, you see where my knee is? Right above the ankle. Let me give you the side shot. I'm set up like this. I'm getting ready to start my burpee. Remember the last one, I was doing this number. What I'm telling you to do, squat back, place those hands in between, and then you start your burpee, all right? I'm gonna show you from the frontal view, and then I'm gonna show you from the side view. Check me out. So from here, hands will go down. I'm gonna jump back. Usually it's followed up with a push-up. You wanna pop up. You see where my hands are? You see where my knee is? Boom, straight alignment. You never seeing my knees extend over those toes. All right, that's never how you wanna be. And I'm already set in a squatted position, so I can go ahead and do my jump. All right, so let me show you from the side. Check me out. So I open up just like this. Remember, I'm gonna show you that wrong way real fast. So the wrong way, usually you find people feet together, knees extend over the toe, they go down, they hit a bunch of burpees, and they go, they feel the pain the next day. Check me out. I got my legs open just like this. I'm gonna hit that squatted position. Hands will go right in between the legs. So you see my knees, everything is safe. Drop back, push up, and pop up. All right, same position, and I'm ready for my jump. So I'm gonna show it to you in a fluid form, all right? I'm gonna do 5 real quick. I don't wanna do nothing serious. I got neighbors downstairs, but I'm gonna do 5 from the frontal view, and I'm gonna do 5 from the side view, just so you can see exactly what it looks like. So check this out. So I'm gonna set it up. Again, I wanna make sure my legs or feet are actually open. Take both hands. I'm gonna place it in the middle, just like this, so everything feet are in a nice safe position. I'm gonna drop back, come up, and burpee. Hands, same position. See that? Clean. Hands, same position. Clean. Just like that. Let's go. You see any of them boys out there in the gym? Some of them be on the athletes field. They out there doing these burpees. Tell them stop that. They need to squat down with it the right way. Get them hands in the middle and do it the right way. So check me out. I'm gonna show you this quick side view. So you see it from the side, see exactly how it works. I'm gonna bust out a quick 5 and then we'll keep it moving. So right here, hands in the middle, squat down. Check me out. See, easy money, easy money. That's real burpees. I'm gonna show y'all the modified, so you can see if you're not on the level where you actually moving in that fluid-like action, it's a little something you can still do, all right? Check me out. If you want it modified, however you want to modify the jump, at the end, that's completely up to you. But when it comes down to the actual burpee, hands down, same position I said. Place one leg back, place the other leg back, push up, one leg up, other leg up, and squat. Down, 1, 2, push up. 1, 2, squat. 1, 2, 1, 2, easy money. All right, that's modified. Another modified version, not another, but another view. Hit it from the side for you. Easy money. Open up those legs. Drop at the knees. Once you're in that squatted position, drop those hands down. Kick 1, 2 legs back. Push up. 1, 2 legs forward. Nice easy squat. Back down. 1, 2. 1, 2. Push up. 1, 2. Easy squat. That's the fastest you can do those. When it all boils down to it, it's up to the individual if they're gonna decide to do the modified or the advanced joint. But for the most part, what I would say, start with the modified. If you find that to be, you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's able to be done, but you're not all the way there with the advance, just give it some time. Just give it some time. Rafi said, conservative guy's a political G and a workout G. 100, bro, you know it. Y'all know what it is. If y'all do, most of y'all on here work with me on the political channel. I'm gonna be in there tomorrow. Other than that, I got one more segment to cover. Thank you everybody for coming through, checking out the workout. I went ahead, I got this bomb ass salad, check me out. Hey, we made the salad earlier. Y'all run the video back if you have not seen it. And I got one more thing to cover. So we decided to have a vitamin of the day, and I went ahead and chose one other than no other, vitamin C, all right? So vitamin C, let's get it, and then I'm gonna tap out. I gotta go to the gym. So I'm gonna go ahead and read you, you know what I'm saying, a little Google definition, and then we'll talk about it. So vitamin C, also known as ascorbic acid, is necessary for the growth, development, and repair of all body tissues. It's involved in many body functions, including formation of collagen, absorption of iron, the proper functioning of the immune system, wound healing, and the maintenance of cartilage, bones, and teeth. Very important, right? And also what you need to keep them viruses away, all right? That's more so why I decided to drive in on that one. Let's talk about it. How do you want to do vitamin C? You can either supplement vitamin C, or it could be taken in from different foods that you find, that you find convenient to actually have. So you might want to consider, based on the definition I just gave you, the importance of that vitamin. You might want to consider taking in that vitamin throughout the day. I wouldn't necessarily go for a supplement form or version. I would aim for anywhere you could find that vitamin in its most natural source. So if you need to aim for anything like orange juice or any other food out there that contains vitamin C, I don't know many off the top of my head, but we could dive into Google and get them if we need. That's where you want to get it from, your most natural source. Stay away from anything that's man-made and the synthetic joint. That's not so much where you want to drift towards. You always want to only rely on those if you're in a desperate situation and you cannot get it from any other source or avenue. That's the only time I will rely on a supplement and something like that. But if you can, it's in your best interest. Find it in its most natural source. You'll be good. All right. For the most part, it's going to help your immune system. It's going to help all of what I just said: collagen, teeth, bones. Don't leave that out. Now, what does that do or tie into? Carbohydrates. That's what we went over this whole show. We talked about reducing carbs, taking them out completely, how much, how long, when to reintroduce and stuff like that. Notice some of the vitamin C sources might end up being sources of foods that contain carbohydrates. So I told you in this show, if you need to re-watch the whole show, I would advise for you to consume vitamin C. But you might say, well, vitamin C kind of contradicts what I'm trying to do in terms of my diet. That's where and when you would have to rely on a video like mine or any other source you find useful and see if you could go about the necessary ways in consuming the necessary amounts of vitamin C and still at the same time achieving your goals by reducing your carbohydrates and still making things happen. That's all I'm trying to do for you. So I'm giving you the ins and outs, giving you the avenues to go down. And if you happen to run into any problems, any obstacles, most of what I'm advising you to do, we have ins and outs and ways to get out of it and make things easier. Check out the video from beginning to end if you haven't. It's a real good one. A lot of good info at the beginning, bomb-ass salad in between, and a little fire-ass workout at the very end. That wasn't really real. But it's just because it's hot in here. They got me all sweating and everything. But y'all know what it is, man. Let me get up out of here. I got to go to the gym. Thank you so much, everybody, for coming out. If you would like to donate, feel free to dive into the description below. If it's not there anytime soon, feel free to go into a previous video where you should be able to find it in the description. I have a PayPal. I have a GoFundMe. No, I don't have GoFundMe. I have a PayPal. I have a Patreon. I also have a Venmo and a Cash App. Thank you so much. Y'all hold it down, man. Y'all know what it is. Thanks for coming. Conservative Guy. I'm out.